watch this lady tear herself down and be built back up again. When I met with my doctor today, she says, so Chanel, based on what you told me in your follow-up and from me reading the report to the doctors, and based on what we've been communicating about in the last couple of days since your visit, your symptoms are describing a stroke. You had a mini stroke. Hi everyone, I'm Chanel J. Wilson, multidisciplinary artist and author, and I'm back with another health bed vlog live from my bed. My health bed, not my deathbed. Chanel is not done. And the purpose of me doing these health bed vlogs is to keep my perspective clear as I go through this recovery process of literally being torn down to be built back up again. Cue the quote. You will watch this lady tear herself down and be built back up again. Okay, so I believe in dreams. I believe in God always trying to speak to you through dreams, through prophetic word, through, some people call it clairvoyant. People have all many names for it, but I believe the universe, God, overall. I'm a Christian. My faith base is Christian, but I want to be respectful of anyone who may not and may see God as a different name. But overall, what I'm saying is, I believe that God is always trying to speak to us. Sorry, just burped, but it's okay. Overall, I have an art of storytelling project coming up, and it's about flatulence, and it's actually very funny. Hopefully, I'll have it ready by Tuesday. So the goal for me is to post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. In light of my many doctor's appointments right now and some of the things that I've been going through, if I don't hit the Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, I'll try to just get it up that Tuesday or Thursday. So that's why you've been seeing my posts pop up like on a Tuesday or a Thursday. So today's health bed vlog is going to be called Heal or Die. I don't know which way it's going to pop up. Heal or die. You know the phrase ride or die, where it's like, I'm down for the cause, I'm a rider, I'm going to be riding until I die. Well, about a couple of years ago, I was working on a project called Winter, it's called Songs for My Soul, Volume 1, Winter. That's a project that I've worked on, and hopefully I'll get it released when I'm done with the Black Heart on the Table series. Knowing me, I have a way of releasing my projects out of order sometimes. So, but the plan is to release that project after I'm done with the Black Heart on the Tables projects. And in the song, the way it came to me, I have been dealing with a lot of things, and something in my spirit was like, yes, everything is hard right now. There are things you're enduring and going through that feel like just very overwhelming, and it sucks. But you got two choices. You either heal or you die. And if you don't heal, it's eventually going to kill you. And at the time, I was dealing with being a diabetic and dealing with my blood pressure. I was working at Amazon at the time in the warehouse. I was a Tier 1 warehouse associate. And I took the job because I wanted to be more physical. I had just had a son 2 years prior to starting at Amazon. And so I took the job to get more physical because I was a dancer for the first 10 years of my life, from 3 to 13. So I was always physical thin, and my body responds very well to physical activity and movement and all those type of things. So my blood pressure started acting up like about 4 or 5 months into me working the job. And it was frustrating. And at the time, something in my spirit was like, heal or die. You've got to make every effort to choose life, choose healing. That word actually came to me today from a friend via text. Someone else sent me a text today, not knowing what I was going through, and they said, this is the time in your life where you have to make changes. Here, let me grab my phone so I can share the thought. But I think it's powerful. And what's interesting is that the day I had the heart attack, this friend sent me a text, not knowing what I was going through. And when I told her, I said, once again, this is very timely what you're sending me. So I'm going to read what she said. Good morning. Blessings to you today. Small Straws by Marsha Burns. There are things you can change and things you have no authority over. The time has come for you to make certain changes that will bring greater stability and to accept with grace things beyond your control. In both circumstances, you would do well to ask for the wisdom necessary to do what is before you. Ask, and you will receive. And the scripture is James 1 5 through 8. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all liberally and without reproach, and it will be given to him. But let him ask in faith with no doubting, for he who doubts is like a wave of the sea driven and tossed by the wind. For let not that man suppose that he will receive anything from the Lord. He is a double-minded man, unstable in all his ways. So what that meant to me when I saw that text, and this was right after I had gotten a little bit of bad news, and I'm going to get into that, is you got to make a choice. Sometimes you can't be neutral. And this leads me into the conversation I had. So on Sunday going into Monday, I had a little episode. If you want to hear about it, check out the video before where it was home check manager diabetes. So in the ER, my blood pressure had spiked to like 371. And I had all of these symptoms. It felt like a stroke. Like my lips were, I was mumbling. Like I could physically think about what I was saying, but when the words came out, everything was slurred. I felt disoriented or discoordinated. That's the best way for me to describe it. So when I got to the doctor at the ER visit, they ruled out stroke because I could smile. Nothing was going on here where I was drooping. I was able to do the squeeze the finger, lift the foot, all those various things that we do to look for strokes. And so they went ahead and ruled out the stroke and just said, okay, maybe your blood pressure spiked. We want you to follow up with your doctor so they can go ahead and adjust your medicines. When I met with my doctor today, she says, so Chanel, based on what you told me in your follow-up and from me reading the report to the doctors, and based on what we've been communicating about in the last couple of days since your visit, your symptoms are describing a stroke. You had a mini stroke because this high diabetes reading wouldn't cause that. A low diabetes reading would cause it. And it makes sense based on everything going on with you. And I said, how could this happen? My blood pressure was down low. And she says, no, I understand, but your body's also recovering and going through a lot of things. So it looks like you had a mini TI stroke. So in that moment, we had a long pause over the phone call because I've already broken my leg on March 14th. And then the day I get the cast off, and I'm really excited about that. Keep in mind, excited. Watch the anticipation video on Health Bed Vlogs of how excited I was about getting that boot off of my foot. They sent me home, and I walked up my darn stairs and had a heart attack. Now, I am a walker. Even though I'm a big girl, I've always been a walker. I've always been very physically, when I say physically fit, no, I could definitely tailor my body, but I've always been good lightweight on my feet where I can move, I can walk, I can go the journey. It's never stopped me. And the only time it has stopped me is when I broke this darn leg. And also when I was working at Amazon for a little bit because it's a fast-paced environment when you do work there. So, walked up those stairs, felt like I walked a freaking football field, and then at 6 o'clock that day, so it was like a little window, had the actual heart attack, then go through the angiogram, get a stent, and then I'm back in this bed like, what the heck? So I got a Cam Walker boot on my right foot, 12 screws in a plate that I do feel, and now a stent in my blocked heart. Talk about put your black heart on the table. Check that out. That's a shameless plug. Check my project out. It's on all streaming platforms. And that's called Black Heart on the Table, Volume 1, a warrior, short EP, Volume 1, A Warrior's Lament. And literally a bin full of extra medicines. And now, 2 weeks out of it, after overhauling my food, breaking my relationship with my usual coping of eating whatever the heck I want, which is not good, but breaking that relationship with forks over knives, because that's really what's happening as I've been overhauling these foods. I'm literally sticking to chicken, veggies, cooked veggies, various recipes from the Forks Over Knives family. And the food is good, but the craving sometimes will come, and it's like, you can't have that. Like one day, my mom was getting my son some pizza, and I was like, oh my God, a Little Caesar sounds so good. And she was like, Chanel, and I had to have a moment like, dude, You can't have the oils. You can't have any of that. So you can't have all that the meat on there because it's going to the oils in there are not good for your heart. You have to stay heart healthy. So it was a small little choice. Like, never mind, I don't need it. Can I get a flatbread Panera instead? And so that's what I did. I opted for something a little bit healthier choice. So going through all of that and then hearing my doctor say, "You had a mini stroke," it was like, what the heck? I literally wrote down on my notes here because I write a lot of notes, and in my notes I put, in my notes I literally wrote, "I had a stroke. I'm done." Here, look at my pencil. You might not be able to see it that well. That's literally what I wrote. I was angry. I was pissed. And I was like, what the hell? Like, what the heck? I'm going to try to get through this because we're only at 10 minutes and I don't want it to be too long. And it was like, what? I don't need anything else. It was like when we left ER, my mom and I were like, whew, okay, it wasn't a stroke. It was just diabetes, but I got to manage it. But now it's like, what the heck? Long-term plan has always been since the heart attack. We're on the medications. We're eating healthy. But in the next 6 months, I've got to go on a health overhaul journey of, baby, you got to get your weight down so we can get everything under control so your body can operate normally. So finished my call with my doctor. She adjusted my meds and she said, Chanel, some things worked itself out. I'm going to have you still do your CT scan. Definitely rest. You know, you're off work this week. Rest. Get your rest in. And she goes, just keep walking because that's good for your body, and do light exercises as the cardiologist team has worked with you, and just follow the plan. That's all we can do at this point. And I'm like, what about long term? And she said, all you can do is follow the plan at this point. And when we hung up, I got on the phone with my mom first. I told her what happened. I got a little hysterical because I've been rolling with my strides with every diagnosis, right? Today sent me over. You can probably hear the zeal in my voice as I'm saying it. Because it was like, look, I'm only 40 years old and ain't none of this cute. And when I laugh, please don't think that I'm not taking it seriously. I live by a phrase, par for the course. I have a special needs family. Every day something happens. And in order for us to keep our spirits up, to keep enduring the next day, we have to find some joy out of all of it. So today I got bad news, and then I actually got some good news. So my ex emailed me when I told him what happened, and he said, look, all right, that's it. He goes, I don't want you to think that I'm being mean and you know, yelling at you or anything, but when we got the diagnosis of diabetes when you were pregnant, I gave you all these books from the library and all this stuff, and for like 1 week you were following it, then you went back on your food binges. And it's not that I was getting mad at his advice, but it was just like, he's right. Then, 2 years ago, I was hospitalized over my diabetes, and that was a wake-up call because I could have died. It was ketoacidosis, but it was triggered from my hidradenitis suppurativa inflammations that make my sugars rise. So they had to put me on a drip. I was in the hospital for a week. It was very scary. And even then, he had got me some new books about diabetes, and I came home, read them, did a whole lot of meal planning for like a month, and then got right back into my lifestyle. And that's what I told him. He said, what is it? And I said, it's a food addiction. And I said, food is what is convenient and it's comforting. And I said, it's not that I want to eat these things. Sometimes it's the easiest thing for me to grab in between work or in between taking care of our kid or in between whatever we're doing. It's not that I'm trying to be rebellious and not follow what you're showing, but I realize this is a consistent lifestyle change that I have to accept. And then I said to him, thank you for loving me enough, even though we're not together, loving me enough to say, Chanel, we got to overhaul this. Because he kept saying in the text, he's like, you've got to be here. We've got a kid, and our kid needs both of us, especially you. You're he put something there like I'm the apex. And that's been my motivation, my son, my baby boy. So I've been walking now without this cam boot for the last I want to say since Sunday. And the first day, it sucked. I felt the fullness of the 12 screws in the plate. Next day, after doing my little routines, doing the exercises, moving my foot up and down, doing you're supposed to write the alphabet with your toe. And what that does is it moves the ankle. So I've been doing that. Like every time I'm in the bed, I'll just start doing the exercises. That's what they told me to do. And then I'll get up when I'm going to the bathroom. I now walk to the bathroom on my little walker. I'll try to have my sister film me the next time I do it, so you can see what it all looks like. Taken just from when I had the high risk pregnancy, and then even after I went into parenting, I had to learn how to manage stress. And one thing they told us is do things that help de-stress you. So what de-stresses me is drawing, writing, playing my piano, um, watching van life camper videos and conversions, watching things on money management, watching anything on home and garden television where it's a before and after, um, or listening to an audiobook. Those are the things that really just kind of bring me back, or listening to some really good music, like from my favorite artists. My favorite songs that get me out of a good mood is Every Day by Lucy Pearl. If I'm having a bad day, if I'm crying, I put that song on and it just gets me right together. Right now I'm in the middle of reading Kim Field's book, and I swear her book is really blessing me right now. What's interesting is the day I had the heart attack, I was sitting in the wheelchair waiting for my mom to pick me up. And I got a ding on my phone where it was an article from like about Kim Field and some other people, and they were talking about those life-defining moments. And as I read it, it really blessed me. And she was talking about what she was doing to overcome a comeback. And I felt like in that moment, God was speaking to me like, yeah, you're 40, you've had goals, you've had dreams, you've had all these ideas. And it seems like some things come to pass, but not all of them. You keep finding yourself in disappointments. You find yourself a part of teams, and you're giving your all, your 110%, and they're giving half of that. And then in the end, they'll steal your idea and and then try to drop you unexpectedly or leave you with the bill kind of thing. Um, you're having a lot of rejection and holding on to a lot of pain. So when I was crying today, I was crying over the stroke. I was crying over my comfort. I was crying over my disappointment. I was crying over the fact that I am 40 years old. I, you know, I'm happy and content with my life right now. I'm not saying I don't need a man, but then it was like I've never been married. That's literally what I said in that moment. And it's not that I'm looking for a husband or dying to be thirsty right now, but dang it, hell no. At some point, I believe I will have a beautiful relationship. It may not be today. It may not be 5 years from now or 10 years from now. It may happen when I'm a little bit older because I'm a very busy entrepreneurial type person. I'm not saying there's not somebody who could come in now and be a part of that. I'm just saying I recognize I'm a true Sagittarius kind of girl. And I know I'm wired a certain kind of way. I'd be that kind of wife where we'll have separate rooms because I want to go draw or do some art. And they'll be like, babe, can we get... I'll be like, sorry, not trying to neglect you. It's just that my brain is here. I want to draw today. Or I want to get in the van life and go drive to the beach. That's the kind of girl I am, and I'm okay with that. At 20, I didn't understand it. At 40, I'm good. I'm good. I'm so good with it. So like I said, it's not thirsty, but it was that moment of, oh my God, I never got to really taste some goodness yet. I can't check out over a stroke. And I said to my godmother, I was like, this is not cute. And she said, baby, I love you. This is not unto death. Thank God, God caught it, and we prayed. She prayed with me. And everything she prayed about was what I wrote down right before I called her. Because that notice, that bad news of, on top of everything you just went through, the broken leg, you're diabetic, so we got to make sure the leg heals, the incisions heal. Then you get a heart attack, you got a stent in your heart. I don't ever want to go through an angiogram or that experience again. They pierced I don't know if you can see the scars. So they cut me like here, and then they put everything in, and it goes down all the way up, and then they go right into your heart. And it's taken a week for this to really heal. It's still a little tender, but I can move on it. The first week, I couldn't do anything. So at 10 today, I did my plant-based class through Kaiser, my medical coverage. And it was a very eye-opening class. They talked about all the books I had just gotten. But what I appreciated was they went into detail about how I should be eating, what I should abstain from, what I should be doing. Like they basically were going, it was a good review about exercise. Try to get 30 minutes in, even if you could do 10, 10, and 10, where you do a 10-minute walk here, a 10-minute walk there, a 10-minute walk there. Food. She was like, so we were encouraging you to go more plant-based for your heart. But if you're going to consume meat, which is okay, only do the poultry. Just throw out the red meat altogether. And if you really need to have red meat, do it once a month, and it should be no bigger than a stack of cards. For me right now, I'm like, buy red meat. But the chicken, I'm okay with. But then she said, stick to an 80-20 rule. So where 80% is more of the veggies and the vegetarian style recipes, and 20% you put a little bit of those proteins. So when I took the notes in that part, it was like, okay, I really have to work on this consistency. I really have to work on this part, because yes, weight loss is important, and that is a part of the goal as well. But how I eat impacts this heart disease, and I can either heal or die. So I have to choose healing. Right after I thought that, another friend of mine texted me, and she was like, Chanel, promise me you will go close to vegetarian as possible. Promise me. She goes, food can be life or death for you. You gotta be here. She goes, everything you've gone through in the past 2 months, she said, the way she worded it, she said, I know the enemy is trying to attack you because there's so much good in you, because there's so much I know you've been called to do, and you haven't done it yet. And she was like, please, Chanel, get a hold of this. She was like, I'm saying this because I love you. And I was so grateful for her, because I was having the thought right at that moment. God always sends confirmations, okay? So after having that whole cry fest, that's what it was. I broke down. The heart attack, even though I had it and it scared the you know what out of me, I cried in the hospital right before the angiogram. And I cried right before because the doctor had come in to explain the process, what they do. And he said, we're going to go in through your arm. We'll look at your heart. You'll see it on the big monitor. It's either going to be nothing. It'll either be a small block. I'll put the stent in and blow it out. Or it may reveal you have more blockages, and then we'll have to have a follow-up appointment where we'll go in and do a triple bypass, and you make arrangements with your family. And he goes, I have to tell you the risk. Either nothing can happen, or you can have a stroke, you can have a heart attack, or you can have sudden death, because we put a medicine inside of you that pumps and races your heart. That was the weird experience of my life when they put that medicine in my heart, and I'm laying there not moving, but my heart is beating as if I'm actually on the track running. Hear me when I say that was the weirdest experience ever. I never want to do that again. Once again, I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because that's how I have to process it. It's kind of like a laugh to keep from crying type of thing. So don't think I'm being insensitive as I chuckle on that. So when he said, okay, I'll let you go ahead and follow up with your family, and he walked out, and my 40-year-old self broke down crying. I was like, oh God. On top of it, it's COVID, so my family can't be in the room with me. I felt very alone. I had just been transferred very quickly from Kaiser Modesto to Stockton St. Joseph, and they were like, it went from, we don't see a blood clot, we got to go check your heart, this is where we're sending you. It was a very abrupt thing. So today, when I broke down, and I broke down, okay? And after I had the cry, you know, they say after the rain, after the storm, the sunshine comes. I cried, got it all out, took a nap because I needed to lay down, take that nap. And then some joy started coming out. Something in me said, go ahead and listen to the Kim Fields book. And she began to just talk about some of her journeys and some of the losses she had, and then some of the overcoming. And she was talking about some things about when she was in her 30s, so she was coming into her fullness of her womanhood. For me, I was breaking down both because I was having the pain of the things that I was going through. But what I was dealing with, I don't want to lose my life yet. I'm not ready to die. I'm not ready to check out. I got way too many things I want to do and explore. And on top of it, I feel like now at 40, when I look in the mirror, I see a woman. I don't see the little girl. My journey, I'm a church girl overall. So if you look at my Rolodex, hell, you can go on this YouTube channel and look at some of my previous videos, and you can see there's an innocent, childlike person within me. And what I had to say to myself after I cried was, it took me 40 years to find the woman. It took me 40 years to find my maturity. It took me 40 years to experience and express and enjoy my femininity and all that it is and what it is. It took me 40 years to look in the mirror and say, I'm a beautiful black woman. My skin complexion is beautiful. Yes, there may be flaws. Yes, I may have hyperpigmentation. Yes, I may be darker skinned and all of those kind of things. And that's not a negative. I'm just saying I'm an American person. In our society, we do live in a system of perception and all these kind of things. And the darker you are, there are many things you'll go through. But today at 40, this is the first time in my life where I am happy with Chanel, where I'm happy with the me now. Yes, I know there are things I have to do, but the way I am today, if I had an ounce of it at 20, if I had an ounce of it at 30, I know I wouldn't have made some of the mistakes I made, and I know I would have been confident enough to pursue all the ideas. I cried today because I was like, there's so many things I wanted to do in my 20s and 30s, but I let fear stop me, or I let other people's perception of what they thought I should be doing because I'm dark and black. If I was a little bit lighter, they may say, okay, go ahead and pursue it. You can do the X Factor. One of the things I deal with by being a songwriter is I deal with that X Factor issue. My last label, when they were shopping some of my stuff and they had presented one of my songs to someone to see if we could pitch it to another artist, they were like, yeah, the song's good, she sounds good, but she just doesn't have the look. And he was like, but she's a really great writer, and she actually is beautiful, but no, she may not look like the next supermodel. And when that happened, it hit me like a ton of bricks. It was like, dang. So basically you're saying I ain't ish because I look a particular way. And so in that moment, it was like, I'll show you. And what did I do? I just went back into my little closet and ate something, got sad, and then went back to creating. Now I'm in a place where I recognize what society does to us. And I'm also in a place where I value me enough to love me enough to overcome every gauntlet, everything that people have thrown on me, every negative thing that people have thrown on me. There's a new fire within my belly today. And I'm still in that mode of heal or die, but I'm also in that mode of Chanel ain't done. Chanel is not done. Every setback is an opportunity for a comeback, and anyone who vindictively or with ill praying type intent, and there have been people like that in my life, and it's interesting when it's always revealed. And the reason why is because I'm a very nice person. If you ever studied true colors in like corporate, they talk about if you're a blue or a gold, and I am one of the blues. So I tend to be the kind of person where I'm a very giving person. I'm also a very good organizer when it comes to teams, and people can rely on me to put together packages or put together ideas. I'll even bring it up. This week I had a moment where I saw an old team that I worked with, and they're literally doing my business plan, even though I got the boot unexpectedly and unroyally. And it pissed me off when I saw it. Not so much that they're doing the work, because I believe that they could do that work. It just bothers me that they're moving forward with the plan that I wrote, and the way they did me. I believe in doing people right. You have to do people right. But you know what? God handles vengeance, and karma comes back in an interesting way. And I wish them the best. I had to wrestle through unforgiveness. And then I had to wrestle through that thing of, well, I'll show them. But for me, it's not about let me do this to one up you. It's about I am the best asset here. There's so much talent in me, and I gotta value that, and I gotta harness that, and then I gotta gut punch. And it's not even gut punching them, because that'll just be a shadow box. There's a thing, I heard a sermon once where they talk about either shadow box or get in the actual ring and fight the real fight. Right now, Chanel needs to fight the real fight. I keep thinking about Beyonce's songs Diva. And there's a couple of lines she's like, no passengers on my plane. And don't get me wrong, I get it. I know some people looking at me like, where are you going with this, Chanel? But hear me out. Hear me out. Because when I look at my own Rolodex, and like I said, I'm doing these vlogs both as an accountability for myself, so that when I go back and watch them, um, I can take notes and also chart my progress. And then also, I notice when I do my private journals, I have no accountability. But there's a ham in me, so if I get on camera and do it, then it's like, you got to do it. There's your witness. Now you got to do it. My Rolodex, when I went down and sat down and appreciated my Rolodex, and I said, Lord, thank you for the talent. Thank you for sending people to me to text me in the midst of the bad news, in the midst of thinking it was all over, in the midst of the rejection and the pain. Because you're saying to me, I'm not done with you, but you do have to do the consistent work. And that's what Heal or Die is all about. It's about consistency. And we all have those false starts. And my ex called it out today. He says, look, I just got to say it. You got to be consistent with this. You got to be here. And when I joined Noom back in February. And so I don't want to give the actual numbers, but I was at one weight then. Today, I was strong enough to get on the scale today, and I'm down 9 pounds. So I had a good victory today. I was like, oh my God, it took me forever to break out of that one chunk of numbers to the numbers I'm at. Now, yeah, I've been through hell and high water in the last couple of weeks, couple of hospital visits, but these last 3 weeks I've been eating clean. And so when I sat down, I had a little energy. And I remember my doctor said, Chanel, try to walk. And also the cardiologist told me in the class, do your chair exercises. And I said, you know what? I'm going to sit here and do my chair exercises. So I was, like I said before, I was a dancer for 10 years. And I used to and I loved it. If you go on on my channel, and we have the creator welcome, I kind of share a little bit of that life that I lived from the age of 3 to 13. I was a jazz, ballet, and tap dancer. I used to do competitions. I've got various first place awards nationally and regionally. And during that time, I was in the process of moving into going into a child actor place. But when I got 13, a lot of things happened where we couldn't pursue it. A lot of changes happened, and I'll share that at a later date. But my creative plan and my trajectory changed and shifted, where everyone knew Chanel's about to take off. And anyone, if you know me, you know that about me. That's just who I am. That's why I'm enjoying what I'm reading with the Kim Field story, because I feel like it's a similar experience. The only difference is I didn't start on the facts of life. I started out doing local television stuff. I was on TV as a kid and all that kind of stuff. So it was always there. So the pain body I was feeling today when I cried is, I never got to do my thing yet. I'm not done. Before I leave here, the world is going to know who Chanel J. Wilson is, and you're going to see all my joy and all my talent and all the things that God has put in me, because that's who I've always been. Creativity and love can heal this world, and I got to do that. I can't die today. And I literally said it again. I said, and this is not cute. That's the vain side of it. But in the joy of the exercise, I started exercising. And as I was exercising from the seat, because I couldn't get up, but I could do all the movements. And as I did it, that goofiness, that quirkiness, all that goodness started coming out. And I said, okay, Chanel, you love this. You've always loved this. So let's just be consistent. Let's just ride the wave of consistency and get this stuff down, because talent ain't your issue. It's your weight. And we got to get your package together. Thank God I'm cute, but having a stroke ain't cute. Hear me? That wake up calls. That's what I'm dealing with today. If you want to laugh about it, you can. But I'm having wake up calls today. And no, they don't feel good. Yeah, it slaps you all in the face. But these wake up calls are necessary. And it goes right back to the project I wrote with Black Heart on the Table. You mammied me and I allowed it. You bullied me and I allowed it. Pain bodies. Those are triggers. And what do we do to comfort ourselves? Food. I like to eat. That was it. But it has to change now. There's more I would love to say, but this is already a long video. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you were to take something from it. Just know I'm in heal or die mode. And on top of heal or die mode, there is good progress. And when it's all said and done, I am going to be exactly where I want to be. I already know it. I can feel it. So many people have called and texted, even people who I haven't seen in years, and they're like, I keep having dreams that you're going to do this and you're going to do that because I know it's in you. Or I'll have people emailing me and they'll send me a video of something and they'll say, Chanel, this is the kind of stuff I see you doing because I know you. You got to get to it. You got to get to it. I feel a fire, and I'm not letting my fire go. So thank you for your prayers. Thank you for watching. If there's something I said in here that blessed you, please put it in the comments. It's a safe space for us to talk. I'm telling you, I'm doing these things to motivate myself, just as you are also motivated. But most importantly, I'm doing it because it is a journey, and that's what I dealt with today. I dealt with bad news and good news, and I was faced with the biggest statement: Chanel, you got to heal or die. So now my new journey, and I wrote it in my journal today. Be consistent with this. Be deliberate about your deliverance. Be consistent with every exercise. Be consistent with writing it down. In my plant-based class today, she said, write it down. So now I told myself, order a whole lot of journals. And you write down everything. You write down the medicines. You write down the blood sugar. You write down the blood pressure. You write down the heart rate. You write down what you ate. You write down what you exercise and how you exercise. You got to become a micromanager. So I got to go back to the other video about home chick manager diabetes. Okay, this is already longer than I wanted it to be, but I hope it blessed you. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Chanel J. Wilson, multidisciplinary artist and author, who is now learning how to discipline herself in other areas. And I will definitely be back for more. Check me out on my website, ChanelJWilson.com. You can check out all the different projects I've done so far. I've got a lot of my books that I've written online on Amazon. Check them out. I've got my most recent project that's out, Black Heart on the Table. Please just go Spotify it and take a listen and let me know what if it blessed you. I've got some more projects that are coming up, and I'll be back for more.